Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about the top 12 most famous Lemkos and Rusyns from America. Stay tuned to find out more.
Starting. It's my Lemkos time.
Number 12. Bret Michaels. Bret Michaels was born March 15th, 1963 in Butler, Pennsylvania. His original last name was Sychak, as he was born Bret Michael Sychak. His maternal great-grandfather, Vasil Sychak, was from Habura, which is a village near Medzilaborce in Slovakia, and Vasil's wife, Anna Danyo, came from Kalinov. Bret started playing in a rock band along with his friend Ricky Rocket, and soon two new musicians were added to the band, Bobby Dahl and Matt Smith, and the band was known as Paris. The band played in gigs in and around Pittsburgh and eventually moved to Los Angeles, where they changed their name to Poison. Bret Michaels is the lead vocalist of the band and also plays the guitar and harmonica. Besides selling over 45 million records all over the world, Bret also starred in TV reality shows such as Rock of Love and Bret Michaels' Life as I Know It. Number 11. Sandra D. Sandra D was born April 23, 1942 as Alexandra Zhuk in Bayonne, New Jersey. Her parents were John Zhuk and Marie Tsimbalyak. Sandra's maternal grandfather, Alexander Tsimbalyak, emigrated from the Lemko village of Izbe and was a member of the Lemko Association in Yonkers, New York. The family went to St. Peter and Paul Orthodox Church in Bayonne and attended events at the Carpathian Club nearby. Sandra's mother pushed her to a career of modeling when she was just 4 years old. Sandra first appeared in Girl Scout magazines, then appeared in national magazines, and eventually made it onto television. The origin of her stage name came from the fact that the studio decided to shorten her name from Alexandra to Sandra, and the surname D came from the fact that Sandra's stepfather, Eugene Duvon, would often sign her contracts with the letter D. In the 1960s, Sandra played in various films, often playing the character of the typical well-behaved, moral American teenager of the 1950s. Number 10. Andrew Kay. Andrew Kay was born January 22, 1919 in Akron, Ohio. His parents were Teodor Kopystyansky from Chorne and Julia Halkovich from Bieltsarewa. As a child, Andrew only spoke Lemko at home and didn't know a word of English until he was 6 years old. In 1940, he graduated with an engineering degree from MIT. In 1949, Andrew changed his last name from Kopystyansky to Kay. One of the first places that Andrew worked was at Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and he took part in a program that developed Redstone rockets. He also founded a few companies along the way. In 1952, he founded the company Nonlinear Systems, and just 2 years later, while working at this firm, Andrew invented the digital voltmeter. In 1981, he founded the company Kpro. Kpro produced and sold the Kpro personal computer, another invention of his. Just 2 years later, after the company's founding, Kpro became among the top 5 producers of personal computers. Number 9. Bill Evans. Bill Evans was born August 16, 1929 in Plainfield, New Jersey to Harry Evans and Mary Soroka. Mary's parents were Lemkos from Brunare and Chorne. They were Ivan Soroka and Anna Matichak. When he was around 6 years old, Bill attended piano lessons along with his older brother Harry. Bill also took lessons for flute and violin, but he liked piano the best. As a child, he would often play pieces from composers such as Beethoven, Mozart, and Bach. As a young adult, Bill played the piano at various places and events in New Jersey, playing multiple genres of music, especially boogie-woogie and polka. He attended Southeastern Louisiana University to further study the piano, and it was there that he composed his first song, very early. He played for Miles Davis's sextet as well as other bands throughout his career. For his musical work, he was nominated for the Grammy Award 31 times, and he won this award 7 times. He became a well-known jazz pianist, and many people regard him as one of the best of all time. Number 8. Michael Symon. Michael Symon was born September 19, 1969 in Cleveland, Ohio, to Denis and Angel Mavias. Denis's paternal grandfather was Joseph Buchavetsky, and he was from Olshavica, Slovakia, and Denis's maternal grandparents had the last name Duranko and were from Kamiunka. One of the theories of the origin of the last name Symon is that Joseph Buchavetsky had a second last name, which was a common thing back in the village. This second last name was Zemyan. Perhaps Zemyan was used more often than Buchavetsky, and eventually Zemyan turned into Symon. Michael Symon grew up in North Olmsted, Ohio, and followed the path to become a chef. He went to the Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park, New York. Today, he owns 8 restaurants that are located in various cities across the country, including Las Vegas and Cleveland. One of his restaurants, Lola, used to be located less than a quarter mile away from Lemkah in Cleveland. He also took part in The Iron Chef and was part of the TV show The Chew. In one episode, he visited Baba's Pierogies in Brooklyn, where the owners have Russian roots from Litmanova. Number 7. Nick Adams. Nick Adams was born June 10, 1931, as Nicholas Adamchuk in Nanticoke, Pennsylvania. His parents were Petro Adamchuk and Katerina Kutz. Nick's paternal grandparents were Andriy Adamchuk and Eva Petrochka, who emigrated from Zawadka Remenievska, and Nick's maternal grandparents, who were Nikolai Kuchmanich and Katerina Lesak, emigrated from Teleshnica Sana and Panishchiu. Nick Adams moved with his family to Garfield, New Jersey, and he attended St. Peter's College in Jersey City. One time, while Nick was in New York City, he met actor Jack Palance, and after this meeting, Nick wanted to become an actor. So he began to take part in plays and eventually moved to Los Angeles. Nick is best known for playing the lead role Johnny Yuma in the TV show The Rebel from 1959 to 1962. Nick was also friends with James Dean and Elvis Presley. Number 6. Michael Strank. Michael Strank was born November 10, 1919 in Jarabina, Slovakia. His parents were Vasil Strank and Marta Grofik. When he was 3 years old, Michael's mother brought him to America, to where his father was already living and working. It was at this time that the family changed their last name from Strank to Strank. The family lived in Franklin Borough, Pennsylvania, and attended Holy Trinity Greek Catholic Church in nearby Conemaugh. When he finished school, Michael joined the Civil Conservation Corps and was there for a year and a half. On October 6, 1939, Michael decided to join the Marines. He served as a sergeant in several bases across the country, and he also served at the military base in Guantanamo Bay. In February 1945, Michael took part in the Battle of Iwo Jima and was among the 6 U.S. soldiers to raise the American flag on Mount Surabachi. Joseph Rosenthal took a photo of this, and this became one of the most recognized photos of 20th century America. Number 5. Peter Wilhousky. Peter Wilhousky was born July 13, 1902 in Passaic, New Jersey. His parents were Joseph Wilhousky from Vyšný Orlík and Julia Hnat from Údol. Peter's parents were members of the choir at Saints Peter and Paul Greek Catholic Church. This had a big influence on him as he went on to become a member of the Russian Cathedral Boys Choir in New York City. He was a soprano soloist and performed in various concerts and services. One of these concerts took place in the White House in front of President Woodrow Wilson. Peter went to Juilliard and then became a music teacher. In 1936, he was selected to prepare a 1,500-member choir to perform at the opening ceremony of Madison Square Garden, which took place in front of 16,000 people. Peter's also well known for writing the words to the song Carol of the Bells, which is based on the song Szczedrik. He is also well known for his arrangement of the song The Battle Hymn of the Republic, which made it possible for it to be sung by a choir. Number 4. Robert Urich. Robert Urich was born December 19th, 1946 in Toronto, Ohio. His parents were John Urich and Cecilia Halpat. Robert's paternal grandparents emigrated from Lukov, Slovakia. He was baptized at St. Joseph's Byzantine Catholic Church, and when he was a bit older, he was an altar boy at this church. Robert went to Florida State University to study radio and television, and afterwards, he worked at a radio station in Chicago where he reported the weather on the news. But he wanted to become an actor. One time, he participated in a play with Burt Reynolds, and with Burt's help, Robert moved to California and became an actor. His first movie was Magnum Force with Clint Eastwood. Robert is well known for playing in 2 TV shows, Spencer for Hire and Vegas. Even as an actor in Hollywood, Robert never forgot his roots. He always liked to bake his own pasca and make his own kielbasa. Number 3. Nick Holonyak. Nick Holonyak was born November 3rd, 1928 in Ziegler, Illinois. His parents emigrated from Novoselytsya, Ukraine. He and his family attended Protection of the Virgin Mary Orthodox Church in nearby Royalton. By the time he was 15 years old, Nick was working on the railroad, but this was physical hard work, so Nick did not want to do this forever. Therefore, he went to college. Nick graduated from the University of Illinois in 1954 with a doctorate in electrical engineering and went on to work at Bell Telephone Laboratories in Murray Hall, New Jersey. Afterwards, he worked at General Electric. While working at General Electric, he invented the first visible light-emitting diode, which emitted red light. Another name for light-emitting diode is LED. Nick returned to the University of Illinois to work as a professor. While he was there, he invented the first quantum well semiconductor laser with his student Edward Rezek. This laser has been used in CD players and laser printers. Number 2. Steve Ditko. Steve Ditko was born November 2nd, 1927 in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. His parents were Stefan Ditko and Anna Balashchak. Steve's paternal grandparents were Vasil Ditko and Dorota Karlovsky from Polany, and Steve's maternal grandparents were Jan Balashchak from Nižný Tvarožec and Maria Balahazy from Trebišov. Steve's father himself liked to read comics and would often show him some. Like father, like son, Steve soon developed an interest in comics, his favorites being Batman and Spirit. When he got older, Steve joined the army and created comics for a military newspaper. He went on to the School of Visual Arts to study under his favorite artist of Batman, Jerry Robinson. When he graduated, Steve became a professional comics artist at Simon & Kirby Studio. At first, he drew comics for his horror and science fiction stories, but eventually switched to drawing heroes. In 1956, while working at Atlas Comics, Steve came up with how to draw one of the most well-known comic book superheroes. This comic book superhero is known as Spider-Man. Number 1. Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol was born August 6, 1928 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. His parents were Ondrej Warhola and Julia Zawadka, and they emigrated from Miková, Slovakia. Andy and his family attended St. John Chrysostom Byzantine Catholic Church in a part of Pittsburgh that has been historically known as Rusin Valley. As a child, he was sick with Sydenham's chorea and would often not go to school. While at home, his mother would teach him how to draw, He would also cut out photos out of magazines and paste them on the wall in his bedroom, and soon he developed an interest in photography. He went to the School of the Fine Arts at Carnegie Tech and then moved to New York City. It was at this time that he decided to change his last name from Warhol to Warhol. He worked for Glamour magazine and became one of the most successful commercial artists in the 1950s. Soon after, he started to paint more, mainly in the pop art style. In 1962, Andy painted one of his most well-known paintings. It was of a can of Campbell's soup. He also painted portraits of famous celebrities such as Marlon Brando, Elvis Presley, and Marilyn Monroe, which are among the most expensive paintings in the world today. Some other famous Lemkos and Rusyns include artist Nicholas Berwinczak, whose parents emigrated from Repej, actress Elizabeth Scott, whose real name was Emma Matzo, and her parents emigrated from Dubrinichi, former governor of Pennsylvania, Tom Ridge, former vice governor of Pennsylvania, Mark Singal, actress Meg Ryan, whose real maiden name is Hira, and strongman athlete and world champion Masters Division, Johnny Vashichko, whose father has roots from Lipovets and mother has roots from Florinka.